Belissa!
Hello!
Oh my God, I'm so happy to see you.
I'm so happy to be on.
This is so, oh my God, like I love you so much.
Oh my
like,
gosh, thank you.
No, I love you. I love this show, like for real. Like, and we're all obsessed with Baker and the Beauty. But like, let's be a little formal because sometimes I just get ahead of myself and I'm like, so welcome.
Thank you.
I'm a fangirl. Like at the end of the day, like I'm an actor, but I'm a fangirl, and it's just like we do this to support and uplift, Latinos in film and television, Latinx projects. But it's just like at a part of it because we're uplifting. Like I'm a fan. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like I like lose it. Like oh my God, Victor's different because Victor's like a brother. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, but like, so last week we had one of the stars of Vida on, and I lost my shit, and I'm like about to lose it again with you. So
I see my my hairstylist. Hi, Gianna.
Hey, Gianna.
Baker and the Beauty. She did all our hair.
Work. Well, the hair is popping on Baker. Yeah. And everything's popping on Baker and the Beauty. So, Belissa, welcome to Dulce. New York Latino Film Festival presents Dulce. Baker and the Beauty. I'm obsessed. You are my favorite character. Don't tell Victor that because Victor will be a hater.
I'm gonna tell Victor that. I recorded it, so I'm sending it to him. No, I'm kidding.
No, but I'm gonna tell you why. Like Natalie has such heart and such vulnerability, just played by you. So like, where did you come from? Like, where did things just go? You're like, tell us who is Belissa because I want to know because you're a gift.
Oh, thank you. Well, like, I definitely didn't come from an artist family. I grew up. I moved around a lot, but mostly LA is my home. I really connect to Boyle Heights. That's where all my family still is. And so, growing up, there wasn't a lot of like theater programs in my school. And so I kind of had to search for it myself. And I told my parents like, hey, I want to be an actor. And they were like, that's awesome. But like, we can't help you. Because, we don't know where to start. We have no idea. Because it's a business at the end of the day. Like it's a business.
And you live in the town that is created around the business.
Exactly. So it felt like it was right there always, but it's so hard. It's not accessible, especially as young kids. It's really not. And so I did my own research. I found a performing arts high school, LACSA. It's a public high school in downtown. So I started working to audition for that. And then I got in, and from there, luckily it ignited my love for like stage theater, and it made me figure out what I want to do. I tried the college thing, dropped out after a year, but I went to New York.
You did?
New York, yes.
How was that?
Oh, I love New York. Oh my gosh. If I could have like dropped out and just stayed there, I would have. Because it's awesome.
But your path led you back to LA.
Yeah. And then I was working, making money, paying my own rent. And then I found the Casa 0101 Community Theater in Boyle Heights. Josefina Lopez, who wrote Real Women Have Curves. That's her theater. And she's my idol. So I finally got to do like 2 shows with her, and it was awesome. And they led me to the ABC Discover Showcase. And so from there, oh my God, I owe a lot to Casa because they really like opened the doors for me. And from there, it was like a 6-month audition process to get the showcase. Yeah, it was long because it was like 14,000 people, and then they chose like 12. So it was a really long process, but I got it. And then from there, I got my reps and stuff because I had no reps. I had just gotten my first headshot done. Like I was very new to all of it.
You know what's fascinating to me? Hearing your story, I get asked by so many young people all the time, like, how do I become an actor? Where do I start? And it's just like, put yourself out there, and the rest will kind of unfold because your journey is beautiful. And it's something that is unique to you. Do you know what I'm saying? Because you took the risk and you said, I want it and I'm going to pursue it. I don't know how I'm going to do it. It doesn't feel like accessible, but I'm going to trust that voice. That's so beautiful. And then in that spirit, you booked this gig And like,
I know.
you know, Lisa Vidal, Victor Rasul, Carlos Gomez, David Del Rio, everyone has been in this game for a long time.
Yes.
And you are like hitting home runs off of them too. Like, you know, it's true. Everyone, like we've had Lisa, we've had Victor, we've had Carlos, and everybody says the same thing. Belissa is a star, and you are.
Oh my God.
So like, how does that feel? Kind of coming, you know, like in that moment of day one of shooting, when you're like, kind of in this whole nother, you know, you're in the majors.
Yeah, no, it really, it feels like a whole, that's the main thing for me is like, and you know, even as going on every day, it's like, dang, this is a whole different world. Like people don't realize how much of like just a separate entity the industry can be, or that it can feel like sometimes. So when I started, like my first day, I was definitely terrified, but like,
and that's that's natural, and you should, you know what I'm saying? But you work through it, you know?
Exactly. And you know, the cast, like I really lucked out with them just being great people, like also amazing actors and everything, but great people. So they immediately made me feel like I could do it. They were like, no, don't worry, like you got this. So I love that about them. They really helped.
So Natalie's episode last week, that was huge.
I know.
That was huge. I mean,
yes.
For those of you who haven't been watching, or you know, aren't, so the character of Natalie kind of involuntarily got outed by Noah, and then she did. No, it's because everyone's like, she came out. Well, she didn't really. I mean, she came out in the sense that like she got outed first. But what I love about that scene is that she made the choice to kind of step up and take the reins over the situation and come out, as opposed to, because she could have easily said, no, I'm not, Mom, you know, and choose fear. So no spoiler alert, it happened last week. If you ain't get a chance to watch it,
catch up. It's on Hulu.
Catch up. It's on Hulu. Yeah. Don't be, come, no. I about that, you got 24 hours before you worried about a spoiler. Like that's my book. I don't know how you, but whatever. You fair game. So I'm sorry, back to the question. What was shooting that like? Because it was a massive scene. It was an important scene, incredibly well written. Take me back to that moment of shooting it and prepping for it.
Prepping for it, I'd say, was like the most difficult, because I remember reading that script, and everyone, the whole cast was just like, oh my God, this is amazing. Like this episode, it felt so special, you know? And so then leading up to it, we were all so excited, and I was always so nervous about the table scene, because when Noah outs me, I feel like the reaction that Natalie has, you see her go through all the options in her head. Like, am I going to come out right now? Am I going to lie? You know, like she's deciding, like, am I going back in the closet? Is this the moment? You can see that whole internal struggle. And I really wanted to play that honestly, you know, like I wanted to show that as much as I could, because it's that is what happens, you know, that's what you're thinking about. And so, and for her to be going through that, like not only at 15, but also in front of like her celebrity crush who just like outed her, like
and you know, no matter what happens between Daniel and the rest, like she will ever, in the parents' eyes, forever be that girl who outed her. Like,
yes. And you can see it like every time when everyone's gone and it's just Carlos and Madi with Noah at the table, and you have Lisa like giving her the glare. I'm always like, ooh, girl, get out.
For real. But you know what's crazy, what that scene reminded me of, and I continue to be impressed by like the little like spiritual gems in the show. It reminded me to Daniel's scene in the pilot when he says no to his ex, because again, it's this constant battle of choosing to show up and be courageous and not accept anything less than what you're worth. And it's interesting because everything you said you wanted to convey, you did. And it was in a shot. And that's the hardest thing that you can do as a performer. And it's funny because you know, when Victor was on the show, I said the same thing about him, because like that's what he did. And it's just like, you all have such power together, and it's so beautiful to watch. And that's why I can go on and on about the show, because it really does, you know, give voice to, like, you know, the Latinx experience and the community and the family within it. And, you know, you see it on the show, you know, you all as performers, but it reflects in your performances as actors. And I'm just like, I'm blown away. Yeah. So, you know, so you make that choice. So without, you know, now for real spoilers, without being too spoiler-ish, like, what's next on the journey for Natalie? Because, you know, coming out is not like you come out and then you're done. It's a process, you know?
Yeah. And I think you, like, from last week's episode, you can kind of see, you know, the biggest thing that Natalie is going to have to overcome in this, or not overcome, but navigate, is her relationship with Mari. And her relationship with her dad. But I think you can see that Mari definitely had a reaction. So that's in the next few episodes, that's going to play out, of just, you're going to see them navigate it. And it is really beautiful. But it's hard. Like, it is, I feel for Mari so much. Like, I love how they wrote her standpoint on this whole thing, you know, of just when she said, like, when did I stop knowing my daughter? That felt like, I was watching it with my mom and she was like, oh, wow. Because it's true, you know, that you don't think about that, but that must be how some parents feel, of just like, God, like, I'm such an, you know, I'm so dumb. Like, how could I not have seen this, you know?
Yeah. And, you know, you talk about the reaction. What has the reaction been like post that episode? Because it's a game changer, you know. You know, for me, well, I'm just saying, have you been, people reached out to you in regards to, like, young people in terms of, like, that's my story or anything of that? Like, what is the...
Yeah, I have. I've had a few people, you know, reach out to me, and kind of, and you know what I love is that they're not all Latino. There are definitely some who are like, you know, this means so much, but I've found a lot where they're just like, hey, I know this is, like, I know I'm not, you know, Latino or anything, but just seeing you as a 15-year-old girl struggling, like, that's me right now. A lot of them were like, I'm trying to figure out how to come out to my parents. And I remember being there, you know, of like, when am I going to do it? Like, how am I going to do it? And it's a big decision, you know, it's a big thing.
It's a big thing, you know, and seeing that reflected specifically on, like, network television, you know, because it's a different game when you go to premium and it's like little edgier content. But to have, you know, a gay, you know, Latinx, you know, young person coming out on network TV is huge. So I have a message for you. And my message is from 16-year-old Dominic, who, as a young gay man, didn't have that representation on TV. I remember the first any gay person I saw was from The Real World. Is the season 1. His name was Norm. You know, so it's like, okay. And then we had Pedro Zamora, who season 3 of The Real World. I watched a lot of MTV. But and he had his struggle with AIDS documented on TV. And I remember seeing that as a young person, being like, well, he's gay, I'm gay. Is that going to happen, you know, to me? So seeing a young queer character on TV being so liberated, you know, the power that you are having, you know, on young people, on old ass people like me, I just want to say how proud I am of you. I'm so grateful that you are here as a performer, that you were ordained to have this role, and just the work and the spirit that you are, because, you know, you're saving lives. Like, I work with a lot of young people, and, like, sometimes it's easy to forget, like, you know, when you're in the bubble, you know, it's just like, oh, I'm on a show. No, you really are changing lives, you know. So thank you for that.
Thank you so much.
No, of course. I went down a YouTube rabbit hole last night. No, don't be like, because that's so. Belissa, you are an accomplished, fierce ass poet, like, legendary. Like I saw you up there with Shihan. Shihan's been around for like 20 something years. He was the host of one of your, like, and you were killing it solo and with a group, and you were like, you know, just social activism and artistry at its finest. Like, tell me the poetry. Like, where did that come from? I want to know that part of the journey.
The poetry, I love poetry so much. The spoken word is amazing. That whole community is like so vibrant. But it started in high school too, you know. There was a program called Get Lit, and they were an organization based in Los Angeles, but they did like an elective class at my high school, and I took it my freshman year. Had never done poetry, like never thought I was a poet or anything. But their main thing is kind of showing everyone that it's just writing, it's just telling your story, you know. There's no, forget about all the logistics of it. And so I did it, and I found a love for it, and I just kept showing up. I kept going to their weekend courses, and you know, I told my mom, like, this is something I love. And so then they had me audition for their poetry team, and they went to Brave New Voices, which is like an international poetry competition. And it was in Philly, so I got to go to Philly, and that was so awesome. But yeah, that whole summer before, we were like writing all these poems. Like it was me and like 5 other people, 5 other high school kids, and we were just talking about what was going on in our communities, what we wanted to change, what we wanted to say. And so that time in my life was so powerful. I feel like it really shaped me into like, and just, you know, what I stand for. Like,
because that's the thing. You stand, you know, right now, like this isn't just any old, like, you know, role. This is like, you are saying something. ABC is saying something. The writers are saying something. And all of that prepared you on the journey. And like, you're talking, and I'm like, wow, this is just another testament as to why art saves lives and why art matters and why we need it in our schools. Because, you know, you're talking about having to go out and chase it. And oftentimes, you know, in our community, we don't think it's accessible. Like, that's one of the reasons, like, I do a lot of work with young people, because it's so important for young people to see it and see it in the room. It's like, if he can do it, she can do it, then I, you know, can do it.
Yeah,
you're amazing.
Exactly. And knowing that it's like completely possible, you know, especially in our communities, in the Latino communities, I think there's such a like separation between art and us, you know, as in the younger generations. And I feel like we just have to make it more of a thing, like more of something that all of us can participate in, like soccer, you know?
Yeah.
Like just go join it after school.
I mean, it's so layered, because, you know what I'm saying? Because our parents, at least I'll speak for myself, my parents didn't come with the idea of like, oh, we want you to be a performer. Most performers don't make money. So it's like,
no, my parents still were like, my dad, not until probably like I booked this, was like, okay, so what's your backup plan though? Communications, political science, like what are you gonna do?
And it's just like, it's one of those things where it's just like, well, then if I have a fallback, am I planning to fall? Like, sometimes you just got to you got to take the lead. You know what I'm saying? Oh my God, I love you. Okay, so now's the time. We're about to transition into the time where we're gonna take some questions from our chat people in the chat box. But do me a favor, if you have a question, please put it in the little question box instead of the chat. That's just how I like to facilitate it, because sometimes, if you would have saw some of the stuff that people were writing with Victor, it was not appropriate. It was not appropriate, Belissa. So sometimes we got to keep the reins in, you know, because it's just like,
that is so funny. Did you tell him that?
I did, and you know how
he was probably like, you know,
son,
it's
son.
just how it is.
I still got it, son.
That's New York for you, Lower East Side.
That's New York. That's LES.
Yeah, that's it.
I love him. Oh, work. Okay, so we already have a question. Boom. So we can. So the first question, I know Belissa writes poetry. Have been a huge fan. Oh, that's a great question. Does Natalie want to write? Are we gonna see Natalie spit some?
I wanted it to. I want us to, but you're gonna see her kind of figuring out what she likes. But I think Natalie's one of those girls who has a bunch of like poems in her notebook about Amy, like that she just writes, you know.
Well, yeah, that's huge. But when y'all get a season 2 and a season 3 and a season 4, writers come through. We want to see Natalie write
Well,
little
my
poems.
writers, they know. They were like, we want to put your spoken word in that. Like, what if Natalie's doing that? I was like, hey, you can do it. I'll do
Go
it.
for it. Yes. Yeah. So that's an amazing question. Keep the questions coming. Ooh, this is a great question. What's inspiring you during this quarantine?
Ooh, that's an amazing question.
Yeah.
I'd say all the ways that we have figured out how to keep going, like, you know, switched everything over online. I love how much there's still activism going on. People are still out there, you know, feeding the homeless, all of that. Like, it didn't stop life. It just made it we had to transition a little bit, you know?
Reimagine, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
How we connect. And like, and it's hard because I'm in New York, and like, this is not, you know, we are faced with it every day. You know what I'm
New
saying?
York is hard right now.
No, we going through it, but but there's also a beauty to it. Do you know what I'm saying? Because it's forcing us to be connected in ways that we haven't. You know what I'm saying? So I've been really trying to focus on like, what is the blessing, what I'm supposed to be learning now, you know, and that paradigm shift has really kind of helped me get through it, because it was dark, you know.
Yeah, in the first few weeks, it was tough, just like figuring it out and being so alone, like feeling so alone with yourself. I feel like all of us, you know, that's why we're always distracting ourselves and everything, is so we don't sit with just us. And so this time is just,
about,
you know, it's just us.
It's about that, but also promoting Baker the Beauty.
It's about us and Baker and the Beauty.
And Baker the Beauty. I'm going to take this question, even though it was written in the chat, but it's from Baker and the Beauty page. What scene was the most difficult to play?
From any episode? I'll do two. So from the last episodes that we shot, I'd say the most difficult was the dinner scene. Yeah. That whole dinner scene, but not because of the drama of it, but it was super hard because they were so much of it. They were just like, okay, you know, we're going to put some music on and chat like you're really at dinner. So it was hard to get out of that when going back into a scene, because we were still like joking and you're just like, God, stop. Like, I need to get back to
you're like, I know. Yeah, because you know what's coming.
Especially with Victor. Oh my God, on set, he's just like, you know.
I mean, but can we just give a shout out to Victor, because Victor's one of the most special people. That
oh my God,
you know, I love him so much.
He's like, and you know, like he led this show. Like, he was number one and he led it, and through everything we went through out in Puerto Rico, he was always just like a safe place to go to. Like, you could count on him. He's great. I'm so
proud of him. I'm so proud of him, because we go back a long time. And
you guys did a play together, right?
We did a play together, but we knew each other before, just from the Latino community. But we lived together in a dorm.
Oh my gosh.
Cooked. Yeah, I know, it's crazy. Yeah, so you know, he's my heart. Can we shout out the writers, because that whole "I'm leaving, I'm trapped, I'm gay," that triplet right there, what?
So good.
Massive. So good. I literally, you had to see me, you know, watching the show. I was like, ooh. And I'm quarantining by myself. Who am I speaking for, Belissa?
That is so funny. I know that scene, that whole episode, like, the writers really were just like, boom. They just like popped it off with that.
Killed it.
They did great.
Shout out to Baker and the Beauty writers.
Yes.
Yo, can I give a shout out to the people in the chat, because y'all coming through with some amazing questions.
You guys are out here.
Wait for this one, Belissa. If you could be quarantined with one character from the show, who would it be? That's kind of fierce.
That is fierce. I feel like all of them have like good reasons. Like, if I wanted to be taken care of, it would be like Madi or Vanessa. But for entertainment, I'd say either Mateo or Luis Gucci. I feel like Gucci would just be funny to be with.
Yeah, because I mean, they're both characters. Yeah, shout out to David Del Rio, who was in The Heights.
Oh my God, is he here?
I mean, I don't know if he's here, but we're gonna shout him out anyway, just because he deserves a shout out. Because he's another one just doing his thing, and like he's amazing. Amazing.
And his character, you see so much in the rest of the season. Like, he's gonna grow on you even more so.
I can't wait. So we got time for one, maybe two more. Advice, and this is great. Advice for a person who's terrified to start writing and sharing what I feel.
Some of the best advice I got when I was worried about that is you're not, sometimes you can get in this mindset of you're writing for performance. You're writing for someone to read it and be like, this is an amazing poem. You're just writing for you. Like literally, I take writing as talking to myself. That's how I see it. And, if you want it to be like this, most of the poems that you see went through a lot of editing. Like it starts off as like a stream of consciousness, and then you go back and you find all the pieces. So my advice would just be, don't expect it to be some masterpiece. Like you've got it, whatever you have to say.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Can I throw in something else that you were saying? Showing up for yourself, because you've used the phrase showing up, and it's just like, sometimes you just gotta let, whatever that voice is in the head, work through it, and show up for you. It may not be the best, but you know what? It doesn't have to be. Like, because if you don't say it, no one else will. You know what I'm saying? And think about the effect that can have on so many other young people, I want to ask, any dream after this, because you guys are you all gonna get like season 2, season 3, but any other like dream projects or that you would love to kind of work on? Maybe a return to the stage.
Oh yes. Oh my gosh. No, I've already told my agents, like, I want to go back to New York and I want to be doing all the off-Broadway stuff. Like, I love New York theater scene.
Do you sing?
I don't.
Oh, you know? Oh.
I wish. No. Carlos, Lisa, and David were all like singing, freaking falsettos the whole time.
Yeah.
They're amazing.
It's all right. It's no, because I was gonna say, because you would be great as Little Red in Into the Woods. I could see it.
Oh my gosh.
You would slay that. You would slay that. You would. I could see you as Little Red. Yeah.
Maybe I can lip sync the whole time.
Lip sync for your life.
Yes.
Oh my God. So we are out of time.
Oh my God.
I'm devastated right now. There's just a couple of things like I want to say real quick. So for those of y'all in the chat who came through, who enjoyed this experience, don't forget y'all can go to the New York Latino Film Festival YouTube page and like subscribe and like us. You can catch all the other Baker and the Beauty interviews that we did with Victor and Lisa and Carlos. And, we got some other ones coming up. We did one with the cast of Vida. So it's like, it's always on and popping over there, and lots of short film content. So please go like, subscribe. I also have a just kind of, I want to acknowledge something. We in the Latino film community here in New York, we lost somebody very important, Tibby, Jose Tibby Toribio, this past weekend. So we just want to acknowledge him, give a big shout out to the Latinos Out Loud film crew, and from the behalf of the New York Latino Film Festival, that y'all know that we're sending you lots of our thoughts and our prayers. And, just thank Belissa for coming through today. And yes, again, show up for each other, show up for yourself. Tonight is a brand new episode 5 of Baker and the Beauty. And for those of y'all in the chat who have not seen every episode,
go on Hulu right now.
Go on Hulu because next time I'm getting the chancla out. We're going to get the chancla. We're going to find y'all. We're going to show up at your crib once we out of quarantine, and that's it. Because there's no excuse anymore. Y'all got to show up. Thank you, Belissa.
Thank you so much.
On behalf of the New York Latino Film Festival and Dulce, we send you so much love. You're amazing. And thank you all for watching. There's another episode of Dulce this Thursday. And we got a special host, Michael Diaz, a.k.a. Wambago, coming through in the house. So make sure you see on Thursday and show us for love with his special guest we're going to announce that tomorrow. But thank you. Thank you, Belissa. Thank you all. We love y'all.
Thank you.
Peace.
Bye.
Bye.